if you could kind of point to one or two things that has helped you accomplish things at all these different levels, what is that drive? What is that reason? What is your why that has gotten you through your career and gotten you to this point?
You know, people ask me that a lot of times because I think I've had a good mix of programming and personality. And a lot of times, as you know, Jesse, that's not necessarily the way it goes in strength and conditioning and athletics. Usually you have really good programmings with a dry demeanor personality. And nowadays you got all these guys with the hype show that really have limited programming, but because they hype guys up, they kind of the new wave of coaches. But I mean, my biggest, you read enough to interpret things. And I read a book, my why probably has changed several times. At this point in my time, I'm on the opposite side of halftime. And what you learn in career path is that first half of your career, regardless of what field you're in, it's success driven, right? I got to win. I got to be the man. I got to make more money than you. The arrogance and the ego is not necessarily cockiness, but it's more displayed as you start to pick up a little kudos for what you do. And then, but you still have the same mission. Like my mission has always been to be a mentor, like to give back in any way I can. And because a lot, even though I had great people that helped me get to where I am, I would consider myself self-taught in this field. I did a lot of things on my own. I created a unique training plan that I thought was going to be a niche, and now it's known worldwide. Extremely humbling and just like ridiculously honored that that's occurred. But now I'm at that point where I'm on the other end. So now it's about significance. So my why when people ask me is I owe you, I owe the individuals who have stayed on the line today to share my story and be as honest and opinionated. And I reserve the right to be wrong. There's so many ways to do this that it's really irrelevant. I mean, like I said, you got the right person in the weight room, you're going to get them wherever you want. Or even in life, if you have the people who are willing to listen and really understand and know that you do deep down have their best interests at heart. So my point now is like I owe my wife and my kids and my grandkids to be the best that I can be at what I do. I owe it to myself that if I'm going to consider myself and hold myself at a standard, can I continue to work at that standard? I owe it to people like yourself who say that I'm a mentor to you to keep being driven to figure things out, to be honest with those same people, to let them know, hey, for as much as I'm a mentor to you, you're a mentor to me, because there's stuff that you know that I don't know. And to be willing to say that. A lot of people are unwilling to tell you what they don't know. And what I found out is when you do that and then you try to make stuff up in this world, you're going to get checked. So I'd rather tell you, I don't know, but I got the people that do know. Let me get back to you. And that's why I say, I know what I'm an expert at. Like, that's what I'm good at. And I'll be the first one to tell you, you talk to a guy like yourself, a Dave Tate, a Jim Wendler, guys like that, from exercise technique, in particular in the power lifts, you guys are friggin' expert professional lifting coaches. I can learn from you. If you want to talk about Olympic weightlifting, then I'm going to go to high qualified Olympic weightlifting coaches. Nutrition, I'm going to go to legitimate nutrition people. Guys need to run faster, I'm going to go to people who know how to run sprints. Like one of the most intelligent strength coaches, and I think you'll agree, is Buddy Morris. Like, that guy is legitimately one of the most smartest strength coaches, if not the smartest overall strength coach that I've ever been. And we don't train the same way. As much as I would tell you that, his training modality is way different than mine.
Yeah.
But what I like is he took advantages of certain situations in his career that put him in a category that most strength coaches cannot even imagine, where, people don't understand. Like, during one of his hiatuses of college strength and conditioning, spent 5 years working in a hospital setting where he watched surgeries with orthopedic surgeons every single day. I don't care how much time we even look at it. We're never going to be able to talk about the human body like he does.
Yeah.
And his concepts of training with like training on most of his athletes, like sprinters and stuff like that, is because he's evolved through the methodologies of not only Louis' stuff in the weight room, but Charlie Francis. And now he's in Arizona, and Buddy's a big professional development guy, spent a lot of time at Altus. So you see the genre, but I have a high level respect level for him. His knowledge base is way different than mine and at a different stratosphere than pretty much any other strength coach I've ever met. A guy like Jeff Connors. Jeff Connors is a typical man-made strength coach, but what he delved in was because he worked with certain coaches that emphasized speed as far as what a speed looks like from a 40-yard dash concept. He really learned the concept of sprinting and how to adapt it to a team setting, to where I would say, just based on what I know, that I would consider Jeff Connors the most competent speed coach with people with a strength conditioning background, with not necessarily coming from a track background, if that makes sense. Obviously, the ideal sprint coaches are the Dan Potts of the world, the Lawrence Seagraves, and guys like that. But I'm talking about dudes like us who are in the weight room and have figured out different niches. That's, to me, like the guys who have done a great job in nutrition. Where me, I hold my hat on programming, which I think I can hold myself and write a program as good as anyone else. And that's where I talk about. I try not to stay. You don't hear me talking about plyos. You don't hear me talking about sprinting. Although I'm competent in those areas, I'm not the expert. I have other people that I would consider the expert in those areas.
Well, Coach, before we let you go, I just wanted to let everyone know this is something that a lot of people don't know about you, but you are credited with, and Cam has credited you, particularly with teaching him how to dab. Is that true?
I would say absolutely not. I don't dab. And, Cam, I will say this about Cam. I'll be very interested to see. I believe Cam will wear off more on Bill Belichick than Bill Belichick will wear off on Cam, because that's just the type of guy he is. But two things that people need to know about Cam Newton. One, he's one of the hardest workers in the room. That's non-debatable. He's one of the toughest guys you will have on a football field. Non-debatable. He wants to win. And regardless of what you see, who are we to judge someone's personality and how they want to express themselves? But my assistant, Jason Bengucci, trained him pretty much one-on-one for 7 years. Their rapport was undeniable, to a fact where I didn't touch that. I almost literally stayed away, because that's how much I trusted Jason, and that's how much I respected that relationship, that I didn't want it to be like, well, I'm the head guy, I got to get credit for Cam, and I got to go in there and butt in. Like, me and Cam were cool, but I said their relationship resonated better, and because of Jason's skill set as a programmer compared to mine, it fit what we needed to do with Cam. So the uniqueness of what it all came down to, and again, that's what goes about developing a quality staff. But Cam and the dab, I mean, that was an exciting year. I don't know why we stopped doing it. Maybe if we would have kept doing it, we'd still have jobs and still be winning. But yeah, he's a very unique guy. I wish him all the best, man. I just hope that in some ways, he's been very, very professional, and so will I be. But it'd be really, really nice for him to have an extremely successful season after the way he was let go by the Panthers.
Well, hey, we're going to let you go here, Coach. Let us know where we can find you, what you're up to, what's going on with Big House Power, and what you have, coming up in the near future. Kind of pimp your wares, if you will. And, just want to say thank you so much for taking your time. It's extremely valuable, the knowledge and the words that you spit, and just the time that you have. And to be able to spend some time with us on a Wednesday morning is amazing. So thank you for that. Where can we find more of Coach House?
Yeah. So first of all, like my new job is the director of performance education for Dynamic Fitness and Strength, a strength equipment company based out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So if you're in the Midwest, we're a Midwest-based company. Pretty astounding abilities to manufacture quality equipment, and I run the educational arm as well as serve as a brand ambassador for them or an influencer. And one of the things that I want to start pumping, I don't know if you guys on Instagram at Dynamic Fitness Strength, we have a 60-second strength coach that we do on Wednesdays that ties into a blog. So there's some really good educational content on our site. As far as me personally, bighousepower.com, on Instagram and Twitter at bighousepower. We are working on getting some digital downloads to a lot of my material on our store. That's our big project now. But as Jesse knows, we are working on, or I am working on, with a little bit of help from guys like Jesse giving me some critiquing on how to make sure it's a very quality product, is most of us who are tied into Louis Simmons and lifting or been aware of the Prilipin's chart. And like Jesse said, depending on who you talk to, Prilipin chart is either really, really good or really, really bad and non-existent. And because of my vision and scope, I've read between the lines of Prilipin's chart and actually created my own charts based off Prilipin, utilizing his principles and reasoning to a point where it is truly relatable to working with athletes when it comes to strength. To a point where I am creating a course on teachable.com called Reading Between the Lines. And then the subtitle, with Jesse's help, is going to be talking about dissecting and implementing training-based, percentage-based training cycles utilizing Prilipin's chart. So that's in the works. It's a little bit interesting to design a course. It'd be a mini course. I'm looking at it hopefully to be probably about a 2-hour deal where we have a certificate of completion, a quiz, CEUs if you're a certified strength coach, and something that would give it a lot more credibility in the field of training athletes and even weightlifters and powerlifters. It give you the opportunity to see where Prilipin's chart, if you really talk about reading between the lines, if you look at the basic chart, it's 70, 80, 90% with rep ranges. It doesn't really give you a whole lot, except these are the percentages of optimal low to high and optimal rep ranges to get the right stimulus, and then the rep ranges for training with a speed of intent, but it doesn't give you any specifics on how to utilize it. I found another article with a formula that came out to kind of prep it like an RPE type of a programmable RPE score. So we're working on that now, and hopefully that'll be launched soon. I will have a free mini course to precede that on volume accumulation training, which is my way of utilizing hypertrophy type methods. So it's a lot of those types of projects. Long term, the tier system strength training cert, which is going to be a project hopefully I get done starting right after this Prilipin deal. But yeah, so we're just trying to figure out ways to get information out. My YouTube channel's growing inside the house. It's a variation of things. It just depends on what I want to do that day. Right now, it's got some pretty good stuff on there. This week, I believe we're going to have Duke Manyweather, offensive line specialist. He's coached many of the pro guys, and his combine prep is skyrocketing. And then I've got one more session of my son Peter for our tier system stuff. And then I might even have Jesse and Smelly on there one day.
There we go.